Hi, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In this video, I'm going to be putting together a project using the Cocoa Daisy Silent Moon Modern Memory Keeper Kit, which was themed for January 2024. This project is something a little bit different, so I'm going to share a little bit more about that after the intro. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Dive into actually putting the spread together, I want to give you a little bit of background. So this is my daughter's high school album, and I might actually end up expanding this into 2 albums. So this is part of her freshman year right here. And I have a bunch of just like mismatched page protectors. So this is from December. This is a story from February. Then it skips to her birthday in May. And it just has a variety of things from her freshman year, and then it goes into the summer, and then her sophomore year, and it just kind of goes out, and I put things together as I created pages, as I felt like it, but there's not really a full overview of her high school story. She is now in college, and I kind of want to not finish this album, but I want it to be more complete. And I decided that the best way for me to do that would be to do a divided page protector for each month that is just an overview of things that happened that month that aren't otherwise documented in here, or even if they are. But there's always photos from each month that are specific to her. So sometimes these might overlap with what is in my Project Life album. Other times it won't, because Project Life is focused on me and my story. This is focused on my daughter and her story. So what I'm going to do is put this aside, and I am going to start with 2020. So I just kind of picked that randomly, but I decided I'm going to start with January because I'm working with the Cocoa Daisy kits. And I'm working with the January Cocoa Daisy kit, Memory Keeper, or Modern Memory Keeper kit, which I have here. And what I'm going to do is work on putting this spread together in a 112 by 12 divided page protector, and this front side is just going to be January, and then I will work on next month. I will do February on the back. Okay, so it's been a long time since January 2020. It's almost January 2024. So I'm documenting this mostly from memory. I also have my Project Life from 2020 that I created, and I have that off screen to help me kind of remember some of the stories. But the main story from January 2020 was we went to California for one of my friends' weddings, and my daughter has a bunch of friends out there. So she saw all of her friends, and she has family out there. So she saw I have family, my parents and my siblings are out there. So we stayed with them. This was her grandma's house. So she went to go see her grandma's house. Her grandma had passed away in 2019. So she wanted to take a picture of that and see the house. And then I have put all these photos here on a collage so that I could fit more photos onto this one spread. There was so much that went on in January and so many photos that I almost felt like I could have done a full spread, but I don't want to because I don't want her album to get too bulky. So now I'm going to go through the kit and kind of decide what I want to do on this spread. Now, I already used this kit to do a Project Life spread in my current album. So some of the products have already been used, but there's still so much in here. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the cards first and kind of figure out what I want. Sorry, the kit was kind of, I put it back in such a mess into the pouch there. So here's all my 3x4s, and here's my 4x6s. So first, I want to do this one. So that is going to be my title. So I'm going to put this here. And then I want some journaling cards. So the biggest thing this month was going to California. So I like this card. And then obviously this is 2024, so I can't use that. New year, I have to see the trailer first. This is because of 2020. So we didn't see that for January. We didn't see that coming for January 2020. One like this quote might be good for her grandma's house. There's also I really liked this. I'm thinking I could cut this out and put it here. I feel like if I did though, it's gonna cover this kid's face, but maybe that's okay because you can see his face in some of these other ones and he does have his like hand in front of it. Let's see. So I also kind of want one just to tell like other stories of the month. This is very much about my daughter. Not a morning person one. That's not her, that's me. Flaunt every shade of yourself just like the moon. Oh, I think I'm gonna use this one for the stories because it's all these moons and stuff and she loves that. Not my kitchen. Eat, enjoy. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do that one there. Maybe I'll cut this out and put this on this one to add some additional journaling on there. Okay, so I think that that's good on the cards. And then I'm gonna look at the embellishments. So I do have these. I could use the January, but I'm using these January cards, and I might even use the stamp to do like January stories on here. Don't think any of these words kind of go, so I'm gonna move on from that. I love the rub-ons, but I don't really know where to use them on the spread. I could use like one of these as a background here. And there's the alphas. I might use those. And then I do want to put the year on here. Maybe this could go right there, or this one. No, how many times do I need it to say January? New Year, maybe I like that. And then, let's see, what else do I have in here? So there's no snowfall in California where we were. I kind of want to put something there, but I'm not sure which thing to put. Looking at my options. Kind of like one of these tags. Now, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on fast forward so you don't have to see me over everything and get this one put together. Okay, this one actually ends up coming together very quickly now that I have my cards picked out. The first thing I'm gonna do is my journaling here. So as I said in my introduction, this is a recap of January 2020 for Summer. So January 2020 was during her freshman year in high school. And I think I will probably do these for her entire high school, but I just am starting with 2020 and I'll go back and do the 2019 portion at another point in time. Of course, this is pre-pandemic, right before the pandemic hit, but we did not yet know that at the time in January. So I'm not making any nods to that yet in these pages. I will once we get to March. In January, the big event that happened was we took a trip to California to visit my parents so that I could attend one of my friends' weddings. And my daughter has a bunch of friends there and family, so I had some photos that did end up in my project life, like this one of me and Summer and our entire extended family. And then also there's another one of her right above it from when we were in California. And the photo of her and her dog for her dog's birthday. I'm sure that one ended up in Project Life, but there were a few other photos I selected that did not end up in my Project Life album, like the grid of 4 photos down at the bottom. They're not great lit photos. They're taken at night, and it's her with some of her friends from California just posing. And I think that that was really nice to have an opportunity to include that in her album. I'm now working on the second journaling card, which is just going to be a recap of various stories from this month besides the trip to California. So I used one of the rub-ons, and then I'm using the January stamp to kind of create a title. And then I'm going to add a little bit of dimension with a chipboard star as well. And then I'm just going to make a bullet point list. So that first journaling card was recapping our trip to California. And this one is just all of the other stories from the month. So in order to figure out what had happened, I looked back in my Project Life album that I had created in 2020, and I flipped through those pages and my photos and used that as a way to come up with what stories I wanted to include here. So some of those things were stories that were in my Project Life album that were maybe like small stories, and I was able to expand on them here. Or they were stories that I didn't document in Project Life, but I was able to see from the photos and just kind of remember. Of course, this is going back now 4 years, so it is kind of it's not super fresh in my memory, but it is really fun to kind of look back on these and put it together and assemble it from her perspective. This project, I think, is going to be a super fun one for me because, as I've said in many of my Project Life videos, those are really me documenting my life from my perspective. My daughter obviously shows up because she is a big part of my life, less so now that she has moved away to college, but she does still make appearances in my Project Life album. That said, they do not include all of the stories about her and her friends, and she does like to look back on these albums. She doesn't scrapbook herself. When she was in middle school, she showed a little bit of an interest, but she is more of artistic in like painting and that type of thing rather than scrapbooking. But she does love looking back on the album, so I'm really happy to have the opportunity to put this page together for her. I pulled over the stickers that I have from some of the other kits that were sent to me, and I added a few of those. I also love that there's a lot of those little label stickers, so I could add one to add a little bit of additional journaling. And then I just am slipping everything back into the pouch that the Modern Memory Keeper kit comes in from Cocoa Daisy. I think these will be super fun to store the kits in before I'm ready to work them into my stash. And then I'm just slipping everything into the pockets. I'm super excited to start out this project, and I hope that you will join me as I document 2020 for my daughter. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as always, I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.